Never had no opportunity on that.
Now it's a test of your will. It's a mindset thing you get right now. Always gets worse before it gets better.
Morning, everyone. Welcome to the Youths Pulley show. I just had to switch on my light. I'm very excited to be here. It's the second episode of the live stream, right? I'm so excited. I hope y'all had a good day. And as you watch this video, you're strong and you're, sound in mind and you're ready to digest everything that will be said today, right? It's going to be an amazing time. I promise you that. So before we begin what we came for today, I'm just going to give you a quick breakdown of what the Usefully Show is all about again. Last week when I was talking, I said that it's basically about human capital development, right? And there are two phases of that the Usefully Show looks at. Since it's a professional coaching show, it looks at helping individuals build emotional intelligence and also to cultivate skills that will help them thrive in the future workplace. And what do we know about emotional intelligence? We know that emotional intelligence has to do with you being able to manage your own emotions for productivity's sake and also to manage that of others, right? So, in accordance with that, since we have 4 Wednesdays in a month, the first 2 Wednesdays will be dedicated to personal development. The third Wednesday for relationships is going to be amazing. What we're going to be talking about next week. Anyway, towards the end of the show, I'm going to let you in on what the topic is. Then for the last Wednesday, we'll be having the professional training. I want you to anticipate that. So today, we're talking about personality traits that sustain relevance. Personality traits that sustain relevance. And I am not here alone to do this. I'm not just going to be telling you things based on sense knowledge. I'm here with a human capital development expert, and he's also a pastor, he's a teacher of the word. And, some time ago, we had a virtual summit organized by Think Right University. It was amazing, that summit. And also, we're not just bringing mere people here on the show because we understand that life's journey is very important. And then if you're going to be trusting our opinions on things, the people we bring in have to be tested, trusted, and proven. So Mr. Solomon is here with us on the show. Sir, please, can you say hello to everybody so we can see you? Say hello to everybody, sir.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm glad to have you here, Mr. Fabian. Thanks for bringing me up on your show.
Thank you very much, sir. Oh, you all have seen him. Don't worry about the fact that I said he's an expert. You're going to see one of the things he's going to be saying. So this is how it's going to work. I have 3 very, very solid questions I'll be asking, to demystify the whole topic, right? So I want you to be agnostic about this whole thing. The opinions I'll be coming, don't just take it lightly. Don't just write them down, then do nothing about them. If you want to research them, do so, but make sure you put them to practice. That is where the real success lies. All right. So 3 questions I'll be asking to demystify the topic. You can also send me your questions while the show goes on. I'll recognize it and I'll read them. And you can also send them in even after I'm done with the 3 questions. Right. So we'll be going on a short break now. When we return, we'll get straight into it. I'm so excited. All right. So see you when we return.
What if I told you that I didn't feel good enough and I'm broken? What if I said that I'm losing my faith and been struggling coping? Been stuck for a while. When I look at the clock, man, I feel like it's frozen. Then again, time is just flying too quick and I'm losing devotion. Truth is I feel no emotion. Bottle it up and all I feel is rage. And I would be lying if I looked at you and said I'm not afraid. What if I never get through this shit? What do I do if I can't find my way? And I know that my father has been counting on me to carry our name. Speaking to him and I gotta be honest, we ain't really speaking these days. I'm just scared that I won't get to know him before the day he fades away. My family fought a lot when I was growing up, what can I say? What can I say? By fighting there really ain't nothing to gain. I know that the sun is out there somewhere, but I've been living in rain. Can we quit playing games? I'm standing right here and I'm ready to change. And mama, I promise to give you the world if I make it to fame. Put you both on a stage and make it so everyone's screaming your name.
Times like this I see your face. I wish you didn't leave this place. Searching for the reason why. So take a moment of silence. Goodbye.
Give me a second, I wanna say something to my little brother. When you get older, your father is not gonna be with your mother. I'm 23 years older than you, I know that it's kinda confusing. Forget all the bullies that make fun of you, it's just for their amusement. Let go of negative, seek out the light. Develop yourself, you should journal and write. Speak with integrity, treat women right, and you don't gotta drink every typical night. Being popular really ain't everything, nah, don't give in to that hype. And it's okay to forgive the people that hurt you, but don't give in twice. And to each of my sisters, I know we've been drifting. Our parents divorced, we all moved away and the family shifted. Yeah, we visit on Christmas, but even the holiday's different. Gotta make something out of this gift that God has graciously gifted. I know that the sun is out there somewhere, but I've been living in rain. Can we quit playing games? I'm standing right here and I'm ready to change. And mama, I promise to give you the world if I make it to fame. Put you both on a stage and make it so everyone's screaming your name.
Times like this.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the Youths Pulley Show. So we'll get straight into it. Personality traits that sustain relevance. So I on the promotion I made today about this particular topic, on Facebook, I said something like this in the first paragraph. A chick that would one day grow to be a cock would have been spotted the very day it was hatched. Right? So I'm going to say that again. A chick that would one day grow to be a cock would have been spotted the very day it was hatched. So about personality traits, why are we looking at this topic in the first place? We want to be able to ensure that as youths, you're different from everybody else. We're not looking for number, we're not looking for quantity, we're looking for people who are different. Employers employ people who are different. So the first question I'll be asking on this topic, sir, is if there are two people, let's say there's person A, there's person B, and as a human capital development expert, you are skilled at pointing out who and who is going to succeed at the time, and you can easily predict it. So between these two people, person A and say person B, what will you see in one of them that will make you easily conclude that this one is meant for the top, this one will actually succeed? What are those things you see, sir, and then can say this one is different and this one will succeed?
Okay. Thank you again for having me on the youth, and I welcome everyone who is watching. I'm very excited to be here because
I think our network is
when
having a
you
little
take
hit.
actions based on what you're hearing today. Now, before I go into the question you've asked, I want to say this. Success is predictable. You can predict success. All right? Success is not what happens. You can see someone and knows if the person is going to succeed based on one, the values the person holds. Number two, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can't.
It was a weird, confusing space to be in.
At 13, my father died. Yeah, nobody never gave me a chance. Never had no opportunity or nothing.
Now it's a test of your will. It's a mindset thing you in right now. Always gets worse before it gets better. It's supposed to.
Welcome. The
Yeah.
network was having a little hitch there, and then hoping that it would not continue like this for the rest of the evening. So sir, you were saying, it says success is predictable. So
Yeah, you can predict success. There are indices you use to measure success. It's predictable, it's measurable. Okay, so when someone is, there are certain values that people hold, and you can predict if they're going to be successful because your values will determine the decisions that you make. And every decision has a corresponding consequences or effect. All right. So the values you hold can be a pointer to if you will be successful or not. And then also, success is also tied to your skills, to certain abilities, what you can do. We're going to be looking at all that by the time we go deeper into this. But it's important to say at this early stage that for anyone to remain career, in relationship, in academics, all right, or even in your personal life, you need to take personal responsibility. You need to take uh, necessary traits that you need for that success. And taking responsibility means you must take action. There's no need learning so much if you don't act on what you know. The man that knows and acts is not different from the person that don't know at all. So the reason for knowledge is to take action. You can never change, you can never become better, you can never develop the necessary traits you need to succeed if you don't take action.
Network.
All right. So success is predictable.
Okay. So thank you very much, sir. Now, there are notions that we have as people who live here in the south region, that prayers are basically very, very important. So we see people spend bulk of their time praying, fasting and sowing seeds. So this question now is, what signs, what things, like you said, success is predictable. What things would you see people do that you can say, this one, by this fruit, this person is going to be successful? Is it by praying hard? Is it by, what exactly are those signs are?
All right. Before we talk about the traits, the personality traits that enable people to succeed, especially in these changing times that we are in. Let me first address what you say about prayers. Can you hear me very well?
Sure.
All right. Let me first address what you say about prayers. Now, it's not just in the south part of Nigeria. It's in the entire African continent. The entire African continent. Most believers have not been able to interpret the Bible, the Word of God, the principles of the scriptures to fit into our present day realities. Now, prayers is very important. Prayers is very, very important. It's a major factor to success, especially for believers, for those of us who are born again, who are believers. However, prayer is simply one of the tools. It's one of the tools for success, or one of the principles. Just one. If you read the Bible very well, the stories in the Bible are full of eternal principles, timeless principles. Right from Abraham, the story of Abraham tells us about faith. All right, the principle of faith and obedience. When you shift from Abraham, look at the life of Joseph. You could see the principle of divine wisdom at play in the life of Joseph. When you shift from the life of Joseph, look at the man like Apostle Paul. All right, he was skillful as an orator and in understanding of the scriptures. Now, there are all these principles that God has put in the Word of God to enable man to have dominion, to succeed in what they do. Neglecting those principles and just giving yourself alone to prayer is is what I call the foolishness of wisdom. That's what I call the foolishness of wisdom. Yeah. You see, because when you pray, you are communing with God. You are you are you are having an exchange with God. So this is how I like to put it. You download the wisdom of God. You download the qualities of for what purpose? So that you can
Hmm.
function effectively, maximally, getting results on earth for the glory of God. So
Okay. Okay, sir.
prayer is a tool that should help us assess the wisdom of God, the abilities of God, all right, the strategies of God, the plans of God that supersedes anything this world can offer.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, sir. So quickly before we look at those traits, before we continue, we'll take another short break, and then please you can be sending your questions. I can see someone said good evening, welcome. So that we trust that the network will be stable by the time we return. So you can send in your questions now. With the show has not yet ignited because trust me, I'm already feeling the heat already right now. So get set, invite anybody who you think should be here to hear this, and then we'll be here back, say in the next 2 minutes, all right?
What if I told you that I didn't feel good enough and I'm broken? What if I said that I'm losing my faith and been struggling coping? Been stuck for a while. When I look at the clock, man, I feel like it's frozen. Then again, time is just flying too quick and I'm losing devotion. Truth is I feel no emotion. Bottle it up and all I feel is rage. And I would be lying if I looked at you and said I'm not afraid. What if I never get through this shit? What do I do if I can't find my way? And I know that my father has been counting on me to carry our name. Speaking to him and I gotta be honest, we ain't really speaking these days. I'm just scared that I won't get to know him before the day he fades away. My family fought a lot when I was growing up, what can I say? What can I say? By fighting there really ain't nothing to gain. I know that the sun is out there somewhere, but I've been living in rain. Can we quit playing games? I'm standing right here and I'm ready to change. And mama, I promise to give you the world if I make it to fame. Put you both on a stage and make it so everyone's screaming your name.
Times like this, I see your face. I wish you didn't leave this place. Searching for the reason why. So take a moment of silence. Goodbye.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back. I trust we are set now, and everyone who should be on the show is here. All right. So we'll just get straight into it. And before we went on that break, our guest, Pastor Solomon, was, dissecting the whole fallacy that prayer is what it takes to get to the top. Prayers will not take you to the top. Prayers alone cannot take you to the top. It's not sufficient. Paul said, show me your faith and I will show you my works, which proves my faith and all that. So prayer should be like a tool. That's what he said. So right now we're looking at the second part of that question, the personality traits that we could see in a person that we would just easily conclude that this person is meant for success. So over to you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Fabian. Excuse me. All right. Very quickly.
So can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm with you. Very quickly.
Okay.
There are 3 personality traits. Well, basically, I sum them up into these 3 different personality traits that will enable anyone to be successful and also be relevant, especially in today's world. Okay, number one is capacity. Number one is capacity. Number two is competence. And number three is character. I call them the three C's.
I
The
hope you
three
are writing
C's.
that down.
All right. Capacity. So let's start with capacity. You see, capacity is very important because it determines um, what you can contain, what you can contain, what dimension of results, of success, of achievement that a person can contain. There is somewhere in the Bible, in Ecclesiastes, God says, I have put eternity in their hearts. Now, eternity is like saying um, the ability of man, the capacity of man, the installed capacity at creation of man is limitless. Is limitless.
Wow.
However, many persons do not use even 10% of their installed capacity. Now, you can let me use a physical analogy that you can relate to. Uh, you can have a generator. You can have a generator that has an installed capacity of more than 2 horsepower. It can power more than 2 horsepower ACs. But either when the generator develops a fault, okay, or is not functioning maximally, that generator may not be able to power even 1 horsepower AC. At that point, we say that the generator is not functioning at its maximum capacity. Now, there are many persons who are not functioning at their maximum capacity. That is why their results are at a level. You can get a result, whether it's academically, in business, in career, or in your relationship with people. All right, you can get a result that is beyond your capacity, either your capacity to relate with people intelligently or your capacity to produce results in whatever the situation may be. So, first, to remain relevant and then to be successful, you must build capacity. I think I'm going to come back to how we get to build this capacity. But first, that's important. We have to build capacity because capacity talks of how much you can contain, how much you can carry within you. And it is what you carry within you that you are able to give birth to with the right strategies and plans in place. Now, let's move on to competence. The second one is competence. What's competence? Competence is simply your ability to do a thing efficiently, or get better results. All right. And what leads to competence is capacity. When you begin to build capacity, you will start developing competence because competence has to do with your knowledge, has to do with your skills, has to do with you retooling yourself, having the right knowledge, having the right skills, having the right tools to be able to solve problems or different situations that may arise. All right. So somebody can have competence in playing football because he's so skillful in it. Now, it's important to know that in today's workplace, it is more of your competence that will give you an edge. It is more of how you can deliver results, how you can solve problems. Human resource managers today are looking for people who can solve the problems, people who can think ahead before even the problem arises. Now, to be able to do that, to develop the competence to do that. There are
Competence,
skills that will help you to be able to do that. All right.
yeah.
In the book of Psalm 72, in Psalm 72, the Bible makes a statement about David. It says, David led the Israelites by the skillfulness of his hands and the integrity of his heart. And the integrity of his heart. Now, that's the third point. All right. The third point is character, which ties into integrity. Skillfulness talks about competence.
Competence,
A man
yeah.
that is skillful will be competent. All right. If you're skillful in playing an instrument, you'll be competent in delivering results when you're on that instrument. All right. So the third one is character. Character, which is integrity. Now, character ties the other two together, or rather, it holds the other two together. In fact, for me, character is like the bond that holds integrity, that holds competence and capacity together to be able to deliver results, to be able to create the success you need. Now, why is character so important? One of the major reasons why character is important is because in all our dealings, there will never be a time that we will stop dealing with humans, human relationship. There will never be a time. In fact, for you to be successful, you need to be able to gather the right human connections to be able to give you certain leverage. All right. And to have those connections, you must understand human relationship, which character is a part of. You see, because you can relate with people and then you are dishonest in your relationship with people.
It won't last. That relationship will not last.
No, definitely it won't last. And this is the truth. Some people think that humans don't think. No. When you see people keep quiet, it's not because they are not thinking. All right? They are simply giving you enough time to change.
Yeah, true.
But humans pick certain bad characters, bad traits from afar off. Yeah, we get to know them. So, because we relate with people, character is important. It's important for you to build integrity. Your word should be your bond. That's very important. You see, because it builds trust. What keeps human relationship going is trust. It's trust. Even in the family, as a youth, you don't want to break the trust your parents have for you. That's important. All right. Parents invest certain level of trust on their children, and children also invest certain level of trust on their parents. In fact, if there's anywhere where character is so important, it's in the home front between parents and children and married couples. So, if we can develop these three things I've mentioned: capacity, competence and character, then I can assure such a person that you remain relevant even in this competitive and fast-changing world. And you always have success. You see, because there are many things that comes with these three. All right? There are many other abilities. Well, let me allow you to ask if you have another question before I say one or two things more.
Okay, so if I'm going to even add maybe a fourth C to the three C's, I would add consistency, to the other three C's: capacity, competence, character, consistency. No matter how good you are at the beginning, if you can't last, you don't have what it takes, to continue. I saw a post a few weeks back. It said 90% of people quit when they begin a journey after 3 months. Then 60% quit after about a year. 30% after like 3 years. Then the remaining few number of people and they want to so continue. So most times, if on this personal development journey, you're on the journey to develop yourself, to build capacity, in order to stay relevant. One of the things that distinguishes you from other people is how consistent you are. Eric Thomas said, if he's in a competition with somebody, maybe in a race, and it's like a marathon, and there are like two people, he said he doesn't know about the other person and he doesn't care. But what he knows is that if somebody is going to tap out, if somebody is going to say, I'm tired of this race, I can't continue, he said it's not going to be him. It's not going to be him. It can't just be him. He won't be the last person to tap out. So you're on a journey to self-discovery, to staying relevant, to doing great things, and you've already started. You have the capacity, you have the competence, you have the character. The last thing will be consistency. All right. So the next questions I'd love to.
Can I just say something there? All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Like you've said, consistency is key. But you see,
Sure.
there's no way you can develop competence without consistency. Consistency is part of the process of competence. You see, because competence will require you doing that thing over and over.
Over and over and again. Yeah.
You don't get competent in a thing without practice, without repeating it again and again. And repeating a thing again and again, that's what consistency is all about. All right. So when I mention competence, there is no way you even start becoming competent in anything that you're not consistent in.
Okay. Okay, sir. The second question would be, what is the best way to stay motivated while you are, working on yourself towards achieving success? What's the best way to stay motivated, especially in an environment where you're like the best in a bad talker? You're like the best in the bunch, and then nobody's really adding, that much value. There is no much competition, and you're staying in places where people are basically average, so to speak. So what is the best way to stay motivated towards achieving success? Because this is really important in the journey of staying relevant.
All right. That's a very good question. You see, because motivation is it's actually the fuel that propels or drives action. It's difficult to take action if you're not always motivated. It's as simple as that. All right. So
That's
motivation
true.
drives action, and without action, there can never be results. It's not possible. There's no way out. So motivation is very important. Now, I like teaching people how to develop the mechanism for motivation, their personal motivation, not so that there is no time that you are down. Okay, you can drive your dream or your vision, you can pursue your goal. There is a process to that, there is a mechanism to that. Okay, some people just think that motivation is okay. I woke up on the right side of bed today, so I'm feeling very high. I'm in high spirit. I'm going to do this stuff. And then tomorrow, they woke up on the wrong side of bed. They are feeling very
and then
down.
they're depressed. They can't do anything.
Now, you see, you have to go beyond that level. Sincerely, if you want to achieve success, you must take life more serious than that. You see, because there's a process to all this. There are things
Yes.
that you can do right from when you wake up that fuels your motivation. So I'm going to just tell you some few of them. All right, these are things I've practiced over the years, and I've
Please,
taught
sir.
people also to do. Now, first, it's important that you have a clarity of a destination, what you want to do in life, or what you want to achieve, what you want to become, your goal. You see, when there is no let me put it this way. What makes the game of football exciting is the goalpost, where you score the goal. Take away the goalpost from the game of football, there will be no excitement, there will be no motivation. Even the players will not be motivated. What are they dribbling for? Okay, what are they defending for? All right, what are they defending? So what makes the game of football interesting is the goalpost, because everybody, the 22 players on the football field, All they are trying to do is to get that ball into that net, into that post. That's what they are trying to do.
Clarity.
So if you
Clarity.
don't have a goal post, if you don't have a goal post of life, what you want to achieve, what you want to do, what direction is your life going to? Now it becomes difficult to stay motivated. You see, because
Yeah.
it is when you have that clarity. There is something about clarity. It gives you energy. You want to see that dream come to pass. You want to see that goal achieved. Now, number two thing I want to say is this, which is very important. Now, these are just very simple techniques. Use your imagination. Use your imagination. Can you hear me? Are you there with me?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
I'm awestruck. I'm listening.
Use your imagination. Our imagination is one of the functions of our minds, and the mind is one greatest tool, facility that God installed in humans, for humans to be able to function in this world and get results and dominate, like you said. How do you think man was to dominate when God told Adam to have dominion and all? All right. One of the facilities that God installed in man for that dominion is the mind. Now,
Yeah.
there are so many other functions of the mind, but one of the important functions of the mind is imagination. Your mind can transport you right now as you're talking with me to a country in Asia right now. Your mind through imagination, all right, you can be in Asia right now. In fact, you can be in US, in Washington DC, and you are shaking hands with Donald Trump. That's all through your imagination. All right. Your mind can also take you backward into memory. That's what we call memory, and replay activities of the past. Now, for you to stay motivated, you must be able to control, you must be able to understand these two basic functions of the mind and know how to use them. All right. Don't always, in fact, not even always, don't replay your past failures, the experiences that got you depressed. Your mind have the ability to replay that, but you must cut off that play from your mind. Instead, create, instead, have a goalpost, an endpoint, and then create an imagination with your mind. How your future will end, like how your endpoint will be, or how you will feel when you achieve that goal. Now, that's very important. It keeps you motivated when you use your imagination. Let me say one more
Yeah.
point, or two more points, but the third one is very important. What's motivation? You see, motivation is simply an internal excitement, an internal energy that gets you into action. All right. Now, um, how do we create that internal excitement, that enthusiasm, that zeal? How do we go about creating it? Listen to this. Your feelings, your feelings are very important. Your emotions are very important. You must learn to create the right emotions that helps you stay motivated. You must learn to create the right emotions. There are different ways by which you can create the right emotions. I give you a very simple example. Do you know that if you are depressed, all right, or you are sad, and then you start playing the music, all right, for somebody like me, I like the R&B, the very gentle going music. Okay, I don't go
Yeah.
with,
Soul music.
yeah, soul music. When you start playing that kind of soul music, it's very difficult for you to remain moody when the music starts getting into you. See,
Uh,
the music start affecting your feelings. All right, there are some activities that we get involved in and they change our feelings. For example, watching of movies. watching of movies. These are real things. There are some movies you watch and your feelings change either negatively or positively. Can you imagine watching a horror movie in the middle of the night? imagine the kind of feelings you get.
Don't
So
try this at home.
now I'm trying to say that we can change our emotions, so we can develop these emotions that are empowering, that motivates us. All right, we can
Okay.
feel the emotions of being positive. Okay, the emotion of inner strength, inner vibration. Now, these emotions that goes on within us, when you are excited, you are highly
Yeah.
motivated to take on an action, to take on a cause.
Yeah.
Finally, I want to say this: there's one skill, I call it a skill, which is very important to always stay motivated, and that skill is being able to build emotional importance, or what I call emotional mass. What I call emotional mass. Now, motivation is also related to momentum. You see, when you are motivated, you have high momentum. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we say that a football team have high momentum, that simply means they are in high spirit, they are highly motivated, they are entering that game or competition with all amount of confidence, all amount of um, 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 um,
Belief.
um, being in high spirit that they can win
Yeah.
the game. Okay. Now, momentum in our secondary school physics is velocity, that's speed, and times mass. So when a substance have mass and is in motion, we say that substance have momentum.
Mental. Yeah.
Okay, and momentum is also being motivated. Now, the velocity there is the ability to take action, fast action. But the mass there for applying it in our everyday life is your emotional mass. What's the emotional mass? The emotional mass is the importance you place on anything, the importance you place on your life, the importance you place
Mm.
on making money, the importance you place on becoming somebody of relevance and impact, the importance you
Yeah.
place on gaining a degree, all right, as a student, the importance you place on building a successful home and making impact in the world. Now, it's all about your degree or level of importance you place on any of these. Whatever you consider not important, you won't give your time to it. You won't invest
Sure.
the resources in it. So that's why you need to
Mm-hmm.
build that emotional importance. All right. And like I say, there's a techniques that I've learned to use in building my personal emotional importance. Because for me to be able to do a thing and stay with it, now that's another thing that having this importance, all right, the importance you place on your project, your goals will do. Then the other thing to do is this: that's what will help you stay. It gives you staying power when you are faced with challenges, when you're faced with opposition. The less important a thing is to you, the easier it becomes for you to give up when you're faced with pressure in that thing. The less
True. Word.
the less
Mm-hmm.
important a project, a goal, all right, a destination is to you, the more easy it becomes for you to give up when you're faced with opposition, when you're faced with storms and roadblocks. So, for you to be able to have staying power, to go through the rough times of life and the
Mm-hmm.
storms you face, you need to develop this emotional importance attached to whatever goal, whatever you think you want to achieve. Make it a priority in your life. Give it
Yeah.
the first place in your scale of importance, let it be number one. If number one is the highest. Now, when you develop such emotional importance, it keeps you motivated. For example,
Yeah.
you will always have a reason, all right, to wake up in the night and do some work.
Mm-hmm.
I always do.
Yeah.
All right, you have a reason to wake up in the night. Okay, I have a reason to prepare my course for the students that are will be on Think Right University. Okay, I have a reason to do that because I want to impact knowledge to them. I want to influence people. I want to help them become better. I want to help them develop the skills and then the competencies that will help them get a good job and live a good life. So I have mentioned, I talked about our feelings, being able to control feelings because your motivation is tied to your feelings. I've talked about your emotional importance, all right? Emotional mass building and importance around what you are doing, what you want to achieve. So much
Yeah.
intense importance. You see, what you are doing is you are investing your emotions and your feelings into that project. So it becomes difficult to stop, even when you're faced with challenges. All right. And then also, I talk about having imagination. All right. Using your imagination to paint a picture of what your life will look like. Okay. The
Mm.
comfort you want to have and the beauties of life when you achieve your goals and your dreams. Now, with that, you can always stay motivated. If you master how to, all right, walk around these skills, you always keep yourself motivated.
Thank you very, very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I trust we all, have learned as much as I have. This has been really, really mind blowing. The emotional importance you place on a thing is what gives you staying power. Is what gives you staying power. All right, and he has talked a lot today, and I know he is very busy, and then he's having a schedule by 6. So, sir, before we let you go, because we know you're going to be doing something shortly. Just what are your final words before I take it up from there? What are your final words on personality traits that sustain relevance, sir?
All right. Okay, I'm going to give my final words. But this final words is another dose of lesson I think everybody watching this live stream needs to catch. How do we build capacity? How do we build competence? How do we build character? Now, it's not enough to know that you need these three things to be able to stay relevant. It's also important for you to know how you can develop them in your life, how you can build them. And for me, that's my interest. You see, because knowledge without the ability to apply it is of no use. It's foolishness. It's foolishness. And I stress it with all amount of passion. I'm serious. I'm serious. Just that we don't have much time. Just that we don't have much time. All right. I see a
Yeah.
lot of things that I am not in agreement with. All right. I see students who go to school, they come out of university, they are not able to apply the elementary knowledge of what they learn in their field to solve the problems that are befalling Nigerians and Africa. So,
Mm.
the purpose of education, the purpose of knowledge is to be able to solve problems. There's no two ways about it. To be able to solve your own problems first, and then you are also able to solve the problems of humanity. The world is full with problems, financial problems, relationship problems, organizational problems, leadership problems, government problems, problems of poverty, of health. They are all there. And the reason why we engage in human development, capacity building, is so that we are able to solve problems, get people out of struggling, out of poverty, being able to solve their personal problems, and then solve national problems. So to get competence, capacity, character, I would say two things. Two things. Number one, you have to be a lifelong student. Engage in lifelong learning. Engage in lifelong learning. That's very important. See, if I still need to motivate you to become a student of life, learning consistently and continuously, then you are not ready for success. You're not ready to make an influence and an impact. You're not ready to change your life. That should be taken for granted. Why is that so? Human beings are creatures of learning. Humans
Mm-hmm.
are creatures of learning. Everything we know, we learn there. Everything we learn there. You learn how to walk when you were little. Yes, you learn how to take your bath. Your parents taught you even that. All right. You learn how to eat. You learn how to dress properly. That's the reason why we go to school. So we are creatures of learning. We can't stop learning. Now, when you stop learning, you stop developing competence, you stop developing capacity, and then you can't keep refining your character. So, number one is be a student that consistently is given to learning. There are so many things you need to learn. In fact, all through our life on earth is all based on learning. If you want to increase or you want to grow in your career, you need to learn certain more skills that will give you an advantage. So that's number one. Number one, you need to be a student for life. Number two,
Yeah.
number two, and I close with this.
Yeah.
You need to have the ability to adapt. The ability to adapt. All
Mm.
right. Now that's very important. You need to learn how to adapt to your environment, how to adapt to different situations that you face. That's where that's where competence and capacity all comes in. When you are relating with people, you need to learn how to adapt to different people in your relationship. You need to learn how to adapt to circumstances and situations that are beyond your control. You see, there are sometimes that things don't always go the way we plan them. Now, when things
Yeah.
don't go the way you plan them, you must have this ability to quickly adapt. All right? When
Okay.
a
Yeah.
relationship is not working, you need to learn how to adapt. When a business is not working, we call it pivoting in business terminology. You pivot the business, you adapt. Okay? So, Charles Darwin, I end with this last thought. Charles Darwin,
Okay. Okay.
in his
So before
theory,
you, sorry, sir. Before you, say what Charles Darwin said. There's a question here. Sorry, sir. He said, "Why is it difficult for some students to add values to themselves, let alone their societies and countries at large? Why is it difficult for students to add values to themselves?" That's a very, very passionate question.
all right, simple. Why is it because to add value to themselves? Is because for many persons, and this is very unfortunate, they have not seen the reason why they should add value to their lives. They have not seen the reason, they have not understood the reason. Some people just think that certain things in life will happen by chance. No,
Mm,
it doesn't
mm,
happen by chance. Now, when you get to
mm,
understand that things don't happen by chance and the value you add to yourself in terms of developing yourself determines the outcomes, the results that you get in life. So, here's a clear example. Here's a student who is not adding value to his academic work by reading, by studying, all right? And then he just believes that somehow he will pass. You see, that student have not even understood first why it's important for him or her to spend the time to study. First, your studying is adding value to your personal life in terms of your knowledge capacity and your skills. And then,
mm-hmm,
secondly, that knowledge is translated into you having a good grade in school. So it takes a sense of value. And sincerely, there are many persons who do not have a sense of value, even for their own lives. Now, when you don't have that sense of value, it becomes difficult for you to even start practicing the things that helps you build value, which are which are results of your capacity, your knowledge, your competence, your character, and all the things we said earlier.
Okay. Okay. So,
All
sir,
right.
you were going to talk about. Thank you very much, sir, for the answer. You were going to talk about what Charles Darwin said.
Yeah, Charles Darwin said in his theory of evolution, he said um, that in the survival of the fittest, it is those who adapt to their environment that survive, that win the contest. It is those who learn to adapt to their environment that win the contest. Now, that statement is very, very important. You see, because the world around us keeps changing. Here we are today having this live stream, educating people all over the world, all right, via the internet. All right, this is a technology that has changed even the way we communicate, the way we teach,
Mm-hmm.
the way we pass information, the way we transfer knowledge to people. All right. Now, it's important for us to adapt. It's important for us to adapt. There are some persons who can't even still use this simple technology. So we need to learn to adapt to the changes that are taking place in our environment. There was a time that there were no mobile devices. All right, people send messages across through telegrams, okay, and
Yeah.
fax machines. But today, billions of people, in fact, as at the last count, 2020, 4.54 billion people today are on the internet. Now think about that. 4.54 billion. That is like 57% of the world population. All right. So it shows you how the human nature is. We adapt to changes, and we're the ones that create those changes. So for us to succeed, to remain relevant, we must learn to adapt. And then we must also
Thank
be
you.
student learning for life. Thank you. It's my pleasure being here, Mr. Fabians.
Thank,
And I also want to say thank you to Abiding TV for
thank
having
you
me.
so much, sir. Somebody just sent in the comment said, so much to be taken home. That is, as true as the gospel. We've had so much to learn. And I told you guys, is human capital development expert. And, every moment spent with him is a call to action, a call to go back, and work on yourself. And, good thing is he has been very practical in the things he said. First of all, he told us about those personality traits that we can imbibe that will be like a surety for success: capacity, competence, and character. Then he also talked about how to stay motivated. If you didn't get that or you're just joining us, you can, rewatch this video. It's going to be uh, on the Abiding TV platform. You can always check that out. So before we, go, I'm going to give announcements, and then I'll ask a question, and then will be gone. So let's say a big thank you to Mr. Solomon. I know he's going to be leaving us soon. Thank you
Yeah,
very much, sir.
it's
Thank
okay.
you, sir.
You're welcome.
All
A
right.
pleasure.
Okay. So quickly before we go, I just want to make announcements about how next week is going to be. I said third Wednesdays are for relationships. So what is the topic? It's going to be like a series. The third one is this, and the topic is when love is a fraud. That is going to be very, very crazy. I'm telling you. When love is a fraud. Are you in love right now? You're going to get to hear so many truths, from this series. How to know when the relationship you're in is not even love that is, driving it. There are plenty of things that drive love. I don't want to go into it. And then we're talking about it every third Wednesday. The person we're bringing in by next week is also an expert in what she does. right? So looking forward to having that. Tell your friends and come very early because we'll be starting at once. So the next thing I'm going to say is there is a price tag for those of us that have watched this show. You know, I want you to look back at the personality traits as listed by our guests today, and then talk about it in the comment section between today and tomorrow, the same time, like 24 hours. This is, 10 minutes past 6. By 10 minutes past 6 tomorrow, the portal for this will be closed. Mention the personality traits needed to stay relevant. Talk about them in your own way, and then the best answers, the best answers will be awarded, right? So we're looking forward to seeing people come out and talk about these things. I really want to get to know if this has been a blessing to you. So to conclude, I'm going to just say something Dr. Seuss said. Dr. Seuss is the writer of a book called "Oh, the Places You Go." He said, "You've got brains in your head, you've got feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You've got brains in your head, you've got feet in your shoes, and you can steer yourself any direction you choose. Your life is your responsibility. Stop blaming people for the things that didn't happen to you. Your life is yours for the taking. Seize your life today. You know, Seize your life and stop waiting for things to happen to you. Stop waiting for things to happen to you. Do what you can do at the right time. You know, Take up these things. If you don't place emotional importance on the things you've set out to do, you won't have staying power. You won't last. And this is it's more like a battle. What life is more like a battle. And then if you don't have these things to equip yourself, you won't last. I'm sorry to say that. You will see people having results, and then you will just be watching. I would have just as well said, may that not be your portion, and you will answer amen. But let's tell ourselves the truth. So thank you very much for staying with us this long. I am just hoping that this was a blessing to you. Until we come your way next Wednesday, 5 p.m. My name is Fabian Collins, and I am the host of this show. See you guys. Thank you very much. Bye.